Welcome to Something Special Designs by Tina Williams, where I create French country, cottage, shabby, and farmhouse decor with mainly thrifted items. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I upload future videos. Hi everybody, this is Tina. Hope you're doing well today. I have a little special gift for all of you people that have subscribed to my channel or do subscribe. I have a giveaway, and this is a canvas that I had purchased. It's really pretty. I think it's a kind of a moody type of look, and we're actually going to be making something with one just like it. And I will be giving this away to people that have watched this video. So I will be giving you the information on how to enter the giveaway in this video. First off, we have project number 1. And this is just a thrifted frame that I got. I actually didn't buy it new. I bought it at a garage sale. Probably didn't pay over $1. Usually I don't pay more than that. And I'm taking the inserts out, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is I am going to be using my wax, my white wax, to go over this, mainly because I like the color. I just don't want to leave it as is. I don't know that you can tell, but it has like a shiny finish to it, so I'm trying really hard not to do much to this, but I want to kind of dull that down a little. So I'm putting the wax on and hoping that it will dull down that finish. And I don't mind the gray. It's the shininess. Plus what the white will do is it'll go into all the crevices and give it more depth. So I figure I'll do that and then see how it looks. So I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I try and wipe any of it off, just because I want a lot of it to stay on. And then next, what I'm going to do, this is one of the backings that were inside the frame, and this is the picture we're going to be attaching. I bought this on Temu. It's a canvas. You can buy them very cheaply or inexpensively there. And they do have a big variety of them, and I like using them more than just like decoupage or posters, because they look realistically like a painting, and there's a pretty good variety of them there. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I am putting double-sided tape on one of the backing pieces, and I'm not covering it, completely, but I'm covering a lot of it. And I like to do that for these canvases simply because it gets them, they stay down pretty good. I'm not gluing them on. You can always take them off later if you need to. Usually I just leave it on that backing if I'm going to use that frame for something else, and then I just change it out. So anyway, I'm just lining up the bottom portion of it. I usually don't take all of the pieces off at one time. On a smaller piece I might. Bigger pieces, usually I just take 1 or 2 of the strips off and then line it up, and then go ahead and put the rest on. And as you can see, what that does is it gets it on there really, really smooth, and so it's not all wrinkly and loose or anything on there. So, and then I look at my frame and I wipe off some of the white wax, and I decide that it needs a little bit of brown in it, and I do think it still needs to be dulled down a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but anyway, I've added some vintage photo that I showed you to my Dixie Belle clear coat, and what that does is it makes kind of like a stain. And the Dixie Belle is a flat clear coat. So I'm taking that and I'm going over the frame. It's going to add a little bit of brown to the gray. And it's going to also dull down that shine that's on the gray. I don't mind the gray. I just think it needs a little bit of brown in it. And I also think that it's a little bit too shiny. So this should help. And then I'm going to put that on there, and then I'm barely going to wipe any of it off. I'm going to wipe some of it off, but not that much. I'm going to leave quite a bit of it on there because it will dry a little bit lighter. And there it is. And I think that's the perfect amount. So I think for very little work, this turned out fantastic. You could hang it on a wall. You can put it on a shelf or a table or something. I think it's a really fun picture. It's a little bit more cottage moody. And here's project number 2. And we are using a redesigned mold, which I showed you. And what I'm going to be doing with that is putting resin in the mold. We're going to be making, you could do this definitely with air dry clay, but I think for the purposes of what I'm doing, resin will work a lot better. So I'm just mixing, it's 50 of part A, 50 of part B. You stir it for 30 seconds, and then you just pour it in the mold. It takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes for this quick drying resin to harden. So then you do that, make sure you get it in those bunny ears. And I'm going to be doing that one bunny, and I'm doing one of the little plant leaf things that over there because we're going to be using that along with the bunny for our next project. So I'm going to get that going so we can move on to the next part. And I barely have enough, so I scrape out the end. I don't know, I guess I just must have done just enough. So when that's dry, I just take my Dixie Belle buttercream, and I'm just going to take that and go over this bunny. Even though it's already white, I want it more of a cream color. So I'm going to go over that, and then I'm going to go over the piece that we also did. That's, I don't know really what to call that, leaves or something. So anyway, I'm gonna do those, and it's actually one piece, but I broke it in half, and I'm gonna end up having to make it smaller than that even. So now what I've done is I skipped this part. I thought I was recording and I wasn't, but I had cut out a piece of that burlap that I just showed you, and then a piece of just cardboard, and I basically took that burlap and I glued it to the piece of the cardboard, and that's just a back from something that I got. I don't know. It's a little bit thicker than just like cardstock. So, because that's what we're going to be gluing our piece to. So it had to be a little bit stronger than cardstock. And now what I'm doing is I am taking some Distress Ink walnut stain, and I'm using it to touch up this frame that I have. And honestly, I like the frame the way that it is. I'm not really going to change it. So now what I'm doing is I have my bunny out that's all dry, and I have a glaze that's made of vintage photo, Distress Ink, and a little bit of my Dixie Belle clear coat. And I've just made a glaze with it. It's a pretty dark glaze, but it will seal this, and at the same time it'll stain it. So I'm putting that all over my piece and the little leaf things. So that'll go ahead and stain those. And I actually wipe off quite a bit of it, but I still want it to have that very kind of vintage look to it. I want a lot of the brown left in there to kind of go with the frame and the burlap. So this is going to be basically a three-dimensional type piece. So I'm going to be putting it on the burlap, and I put my insert back in. I put the burlap in first. I did not attach it to the backing of the frame, so if later I want to change this out, I can certainly do that. That's why I did it separately on the cardboard. So anyway, here's my burlap with my frame, and now I'm going to attach the bunny here, and I know the ears stick out. That's intentional. And now what I'm doing is I am taking some foam tape and I'm doubling it because I'm going to need that to uh, help at the top of where the head is, because it's going to be tilted a little bit. And it will be stuck directly onto the burlap. I'm actually not attaching any type of glue or adhesive to the frame. I'm just doing it directly to the burlap. And so all I'm going to be doing is just putting some hot glue on the back of this casting. And attaching it to the frame. And then I'm putting one of my little molds down with hot glue. And then the other. And there you go. That's pretty much it. I'm going to add a little bit more to this after looking at it. I decided that it needed something else, so I went ahead and took a permanent ink, my archival ink in black, and I went ahead and did a little bit of adding that to my frame. And now I'm going back to my Iron Orchard traditional POTS transfers, and I'm looking for just some words to put on the frame. I just feel like it needs just a tiny bit more. So I basically just find a word and then a year, and I kind of center that on my frame on the top and the bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and rub that on there, and don't mind that little string there. First I was thinking about putting it on some material and putting it on there, and that looked kind of weird, so I didn't do that. So I'm just putting the word, the year and the word on there, and I think it really just gives it just enough. And so now what I'm going to do is I am just going to seal in my transfer, and also seal in. I used that ink on there that was not permanent, so this will seal in the ink, and it'll seal the other vintage photo or walnut stain, I'm sorry, ink on there. Now the black ink was permanent, but anyway, so this will seal in the transfer, and it'll seal the entire frame, so I don't have to worry about that brown rubbing off somewhere on someone's hands or something. So anyway, I think it turned out really cute. I think this would be a cute little shelf sitter in a kind of a neutral background. I'm going to be using it probably in my living room or family room, whatever we want to call it. I think it'll go great in there, along with some other things. So this is project number 3, and this project I of course thrifted this at a garage sale, and it's a pretty plain frame. It's gold. It's kind of an interesting, kind of color with the rooster and everything. It's pretty old. So first thing I have to do is take it all apart. It looks like, it's been around a while. And I'm taking this beautiful gray color that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and use that all over my frame. And I'm going to give it one really good coat with this. Let it dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and do another coat because I want this to cover the gold. Getting all in the little spots in there. And I'm actually going to be adding things to this and putting more on top, but I like to get one base coat on at least when I am adding molds and things. I know some people do it all at one time, but I like to have it one on there before I even add the mold. I think it sticks better. So now I'm getting my IOD trimmings mold out. And I put some cornstarch on it. And I'm just kind of rolling it in my hands. And I just press down, and this is one of the transfer sticks that I've used from another pack, but I love using these on, you can use like a old credit card or a gift card. And I use my brayer too. I really like how it helps make sure that you get everything, all the definition in your mold. And I'm adding that to my frame that was otherwise, pretty plain. It really didn't have much going on. And right now I'm not adding any glue. I'm just kind of spacing things out, trying to figure out what fits where. And the way that these molds work is that a lot of them, they just fit inside each other. So they connect. Now what I'm doing is I'm going and mitering the corners, and basically I line it up with the actual frame miter, and I do that on all four corners, and then I start gluing everything down after I have it cut out and decided where it's going to put it. And I have already put one coat of my Folk Art Home Decor Parisian Gray on there. I always coat my casting with one coat of the whatever color I'm using, and I already did that, and now I'm let that dry, and I'm working on the second coat. And the second coat really is just filling in wherever I didn't get with the first coat, because when you're doing the first coat, your moldings or your castings are still very vulnerable to being distorted with your brush. So I use a very soft brush the first time, and I go over it, and I don't really get inside all of the castings real well. But after they're dry, I go back in on my second coat, and that's where I go in there and get all that detail. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually using the backing or the actual picture, and I'm doing the same thing that I did on our other picture, and I'm just adding double-sided tape because I think it works the best on the canvases, and we're going to be using another canvas. And this one is another canvas from Temu. They sell these also on Amazon if you want to look there. And I can't give you the specific link on Temu because I looked and I can't find it. So what happens sometimes is they run out. And when that happens, then you're just kind of, just kind of have to look. So I would just look out there and see. So now all I'm doing is trimming it to get it to the right size. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking my milk paint, which I'm using Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint Farmhouse White. And I am mixing it 50-50 with water. And I make sure that I mix it really well. And I have this little cup. I got this from the Dollar Tree. I really like it because I can keep stuff in it and it doesn't, it doesn't dry out as quickly because I have a top on it. And of course I can wash it out. So after I mix that up really well and then let it sit a little bit, we're going to be putting milk paint over this frame because I am going to be I'm going to make this a very kind of distressed looking, almost grungy kind of looking frame. Now you may want to stop at the gray. You may want to stop at the milk paint. You always have to think, what is your decor? What is your preference? What you want to do? So whenever I take things to the grungy level, you have to, everybody likes what they like. So you just have to decide what you like and what's going to go in your decor and, at what level you may want to stop. So I am not trying to cover all the gray purposely. I'm leaving a lot of it there. And I am going to use my heat gun to try and heat this up and get it to crack a little bit. And it really isn't cracking very much at all. So it's a little disappointing. Now what I'm doing is I have some brown and some black wax. And the black wax that I bought off Amazon, I can't really recommend it because it is very dry and I don't know, it doesn't spread very well. I'm trying to look for the name. The name of it is Chalk Mountain. So I bought that a long time ago. And that's probably so dry. And I also have the Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax Brown. And I just took a little of both of those and kind of mixed them up. And I'm going to be using that. And now I'm taking my 220 grit sandpaper and I'm trying to sand off some of the milk paint. And some of it's coming off. But then I go in and I get my little finger sander and I'm really working at it. I mean, this stuff is really on. It's not coming off. And I also go in there and do some wet distressing. And then I go back in and I put my wax on, which right now it looks really black, but it's actually kind of a mix between the brown and the black. So, and I also left the white from my previous wax on my brush. So it's actually, combining all of them. And I'm liking that. And you can still see the gray from the gray that I put in. And I did not put wax on my frame or a sealant or anything because I wanted a lot of this to soak in. If you want to be able to wipe more of it off, then you want to put a sealant on it of some sort. Either a wax or you can put your clear coat. But I did not do that purposely on this because I want a lot of it to be in there. I'm actually trying to get back to kind of a grungy gray color and having the white show through with the gray. I want it to look very, I don't know, like it's just been around a really long time, basically. That's the goal. So I was hoping for a little bit more chipping, but that didn't happen. So sometimes, you got to go with what you go with. And so now this is pretty much where I want it. And I'm going to take my Dixie Belle clear coat, just clear, and I'm going to go over the whole thing and just seal it. Again, even though I went over it with the wax, what that's going to do is it's going, because I didn't really wait for the wax to 100% dry, it's going to kind of blend the colors together a little bit. And it is also going to seal the portions maybe that I didn't get with the wax. So I go over the whole thing. And that is how it looks. And this is the picture in it. I think it turned out fantastic. This is actually my favorite project. Absolutely love how the frame turned out. I like that look. It looks very weathered and distressed. And I think it goes great with this canvas. So that's going up on my wall. I have a gallery wall, and I think I'm going to put it up there. But I think with the sheep, it's definitely an Eastery, moody look. This is project number 4, and this is the poster that we were talking about. And if you would like to get this poster, you need to mention Rabbit one time in your comments and be a public subscriber, and you will be entered to win. And that's all you have to do. Be a public subscriber and mention Rabbit one time. That's it. And then you will be in it to win it. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have this canvas, and it does have a wood frame. It's a stretched canvas. You have to have wood to do this project. A wood frame of, stretched canvas. You can't do it on just a poster board or just a regular canvas that does not have wood on it. So I am going to do the same thing that we did to the others, because we're going to be putting that beautiful rabbit on here. And I'm putting enough of this tape down that it holds the canvas down really well. You don't want to just put it on the ends or something, because then the canvas doesn't really stretch really well on there, and it can look a little bit loose. I've done that, and I don't like the look as much, so I do it on these. What's really fun is I have a frame in my living room, and I'm probably going to use some other ones where I just change things out all the time by just putting these different canvases on, because they're so inexpensive. You can change the look very easily. So now what I'm doing is I'm just trimming the white part off of this, because we're going to be actually mounting this directly to it. It's not going to have a frame. So we're going to go ahead and just trim all the white off. I'm not doing it on the top or the bottom, because we're actually going to be folding that over. And after I attach this like I did all the other ones, I'm not going to show you that again. I have these, they're upholstery tacks, and I got these off of Temu. You can get them off of Amazon as well. And they're kind of a vintage copper look to them. And I love how they look. So I am actually going to go ahead, and I'm just eyeballing these. Excuse my hands, guys. I did not clean them in between. My hands always get so bad. But I just get into my project. What can I say? And anyway, I'm just going through and I'm eyeballing it. And I'm just putting this all the way around. And I'm putting these thumbtacks in. And the thumbtacks they're very inexpensive. They were not that much at all. So I'm doing this, just eyeballing it. And they're easy to put in. And I do this all the way around until I get the look that I want. And I'm not trying to do it with perfection, but that is all I do to this. I do go and take, this is walnut stain, And I do take that and go all the way around my frame with the walnut stain. And this is just a dauber that I'm using to go around it. And then later I decide I'm going to use some ground espresso archival ink, which is probably what I should have used to begin with because it's permanent. And I go over that. And then I take a little bit of my Dixie Belle clear coat and put it on the ends because I don't want brown to coming off on my hands or other people's. So here it is, guys. Here is this beautiful rabbit. And don't forget, all you have to do is say rabbit and be a public subscriber in this video, and you will have an opportunity to win one of these canvases. But anyway, I think it turned out great, and it was pretty easy to do. Not much to it. And here I'm just showing you a frame that I have in my family room. And on this, it is just another canvas, but I took a very, very simple frame. And it had absolutely no character at all. And I added 3 different moldings, IOD moldings from the trim mold, and put that on there. So that was it, guys. That was everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope I get to see you again soon. Take care.